Title: The Beautiful Lie We Lived Before the Porch Light Dimmed. Growing up in the high desert of Nevada, the heat wasn't just a weather report, it was a lifestyle. But whenever the summer sun finally dipped and the streetlights flickered to life, my older brother, Jax, would start the scavenger hunt. I was 7, and to me, Jax was basically a superhero in a beat-up flannel shirt. He'd grab me by the hand, eyes wide with fake excitement, and whisper, "Miller, the Shadow King is coming. We gotta vanish, right now." Our base was this tiny, cramped crawlspace behind the heavy oak dresser in his room. He'd shove me in there with a flashlight, a box of lukewarm juice, and his old Sony Walkman. He'd tell me that the Shadow King was looking for anyone who wasn't perfectly still, and if I made so much as a peep, the game was over, and the king would take my favorite action figure. I'd sit there for hours, vibrating with adrenaline, listening to the heavy thud of the Shadow King stomping through the hallway. Sometimes, I'd hear the king shouting, his voice booming like actual thunder, and Jax would just crank the volume on my headphones, grinning and mouthing the words, "He's getting warmer." I spent my whole childhood bragging about how I was the only kid in Reno who ever beat the Shadow King. But last July, Jax and I were sitting on his back deck, watching the sunset. I laughed, bringing up that old game, asking him how he always knew exactly when to start the hunt. Jax didn't laugh. He didn't even look at me. He just gripped his soda can until his knuckles turned white, and whispered, "Miller, the Shadow King didn't want your toys." It hit me like a physical punch to the chest. The thuds weren't a game. It was our stepdad, coming home from the dive bar in a blind, bourbon-soaked fury. Jax wasn't playing. He was protecting me. He spent his entire youth being the bait, standing in that hallway and taking the king's wrath